For user management settings, we proceed from the security menu. The first item is user management. As shown on the right, we see a list of defined users with their information and their status, whether they are active or not. To define a new user, we select the New option. In the displayed form, there are 3 sections. In the first section, we define the general information of each user. Initially, we enter the user's name and then their password. Note that the length and complexity of the password depend on the settings made in the Settings section. In the Confirm Password field, we re-enter the chosen password. Note, the user must change their password on their first login because the initial password is known to the admin. Next, we specify the user's title and then enter their full name. The next section is the mobile number of the user, which is used in services like Passport. If you decide to use the Passport service for your Center for Two-Factor Authentication during login, the user's mobile number must be defined here. We also enter the user's email address. In the following section, named Advance, we can specify the user's expiration date, determining how long this user will be active. We can also assign a label and specify in the directory whether the user is defined as internal or LDAP. At this point, a brief explanation is necessary. When a user is manually defined, as we are doing now, the user is defined as internal. Later, we will discuss the possibility of integrating with each center's Active Directory for user management, where we will receive all settings and apply them to PACS. In this case, user's directory will be LDAP. Finally, in the Personal Information section, we can define more detailed and personal information for each user, such as national ID, birth date, gender, and so on, and then create the user. Note that fields like username, password, full name, and email are mandatory. As you can see in the list, the user has been added. To edit a user, first select the user, and then choose the Edit option. In this form, we see that the password field is not present because only the user can change their password, while other items can be edited. Finally, we select Update to apply the changes. If we need to delete a user, we select the user and then choose the Delete option. A message will appear asking if you are sure, and by selecting Yes, the user will be deleted. Note that you can only delete a user who has no ongoing workflow. The next item is Reset Password, where the user can change their password from this menu. The following items are active and deactive. Suppose you want to delete a user, but they are currently active in the system and deletion is not possible. You can select the user from the list and deactivate them. Similarly, it is possible to reactivate deactivated users. To view each user's profile, you can proceed from this section. Each user has a profile where they can set their personal settings, such as setting a profile picture or uploading their digital signature. The digital signature is one of the items that can be used by doctors when signing reports, adding the digital signature to the report. Any user can access their profile from this section in the administration panel and apply their settings. If a user is locked for any reason, such as due to multiple failed login attempts, you can unlock the user from this item. We have covered the primary items in user definitions. Now, for a user to log into the system and have the appropriate permissions based on their position, the next step is to create and define permissions. For this purpose, we enter the Role Management menu. The groups typically interacting with PACS systems are known. They may be PACS admins, supervisors of imaging departments, radiologist doctors, reporters and typists, or receptionists and radiology technicians. Therefore, we have predefined groups in the system with specific permissions, and you can use this categorization. However, you still have the ability to define new groups and assign any type of permissions to them. Let's review an example of a predefined group and then create a new group. For example, let's review the physician group, generally assigned to radiologist doctors. As indicated in the description, this group is for reviewing studies and registering specialized reports on them. The detailed permissions of this group display the items activated for this group. Now, let's create a new group together. From the top menu, select New, enter the title and description, and then create the group. Now, we need to specify permissions for this group. This can be done by clicking the Permission option from the top menu or selecting Manage from the end of the row. In the displayed page, on the left side, there is a table listing all the permission items. For instance, in the Browse Exam section, which is the search page and study list, there are permissions for patient search, viewing images, downloading, etc. You can select any of them and click Allow to move it to the right. The same applies to other permissions, and finally, we click Apply to save the settings. Now let's review the functions of each category of permissions and familiarize ourselves with them. Browse Exam is for access to the initial page and searching and listing exams. It includes an item named Manage Report for reporting access. Manage Exam involves permissions related to each exam, such as editing, deleting, commenting, etc. Security Management pertains to user definition permissions and related tasks in the administration, typically assigned to a PACS admin or supervisor. The next items, such as System Management, Image Server, Storage, etc., relate to initial configurations and are found in the Administration section. Now that we are familiar with defining roles and assigning permissions to each of them, let's return to the User page. We will now assign one of the roles to the defined user. First, select the user and then choose Roles from the top menu. In the displayed page, select the desired role and move it to the right using the right arrow key, and finally click Apply to assign the selected role and its permissions to the user. In the user list, you can see the details of each user, including the roles they currently have access to. We have now covered user definitions, role definitions, and permissions, and in the next session, we will address more advanced user management settings and features.